Hello friends and welcome to another video from my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I always talk about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. The new episode of Star Trek Discovery premiered on Thursday on CBS All Access and on Friday on Netflix. I have just finished watching it and these are my honest opinions about it, as usually with almost no spoilers. First of all, if you live in the USA, you can watch the first episode of Season 2 for free on YouTube, which to me sounds like the show is in pretty big trouble. I am not in the USA, so I have no idea how well is the first episode received. Could anybody check it for me? Please? Pretty please? So first, they gave CBS All Access subscriptions away for free. Now they are uploading the season opener for free to their YouTube page. I don't see it as a positive thing, to be honest. This looks to me like more like CBS is basically begging people to watch the show. But let's talk a bit about this week's episode. I usually am careful not to spoil the plot of the episode, but there is nothing really to spoil in this one. I mean, if you have seen the trailer for this episode, you know that the Discovery found a lost Earth colony, and that's basically the episode. A landing party consisting of Pike, Burnham, and that second black woman from the bridge, whose name I still kind of don't remember, beams down. They find the colony, they listen to the story about how they got there, which is of course the Red Angel brought them there during the Third World War, and then they leave. That's it. Nothing really happens on the planet. Okay, one technician thinks that they are coming from the real Earth, and Pike in the end tells him that it's the truth. That's not very exciting. Pike has a heroic moment where he saves a little girl's life, but there is absolutely no tension in the sequence. I mean, how can we be afraid that Pike might die if we know that he will be alive 10 years later and be brought to Talos 4 in the classic Star Trek episode called The Menagerie? Of course we know that he will survive the whole season, so why should we be afraid that anything bad ever happens to him? This is why it's a bad idea to do a prequel, and an even worse idea to be using pre-established characters. So nothing interesting happens in the A-plot, that means that the B-plot will be great, right? Well, Tilly does something with the rock sample from the previous episode and gets hit to the head, and during the rest of the episode she talks to some, I assume, Indian girl, who is obviously not there. Every scene that the, I assume, Indian girl is in is shot in such a way that it's absolutely obvious that Tilly is the only one who can see her. It's like Jonathan Frakes, who, by the way, directed this episode, wanted us to know that Tilly is the only one who sees her. But in the end, Tilly finds out that the girl died years ago, and it's shot in such a way that I think we should be surprised by it. Why? During the whole episode I was desperately waiting for something interesting to happen, and something interesting did indeed happen. Pike watched a video recording shot by one of the soldiers who got moved from Earth to the colony, and it shows a few seconds of the Red Angel. So yes, something slightly interesting does happen. And after this brief scene, the episode ends. So during the whole 40-something minutes long episode, we see one interesting scene and then it just ends. The whole thing is just so boring. The previous episode was also pretty boring, but at least it had a couple of scenes of Captain Pike being simply charming. This episode doesn't have anything like that. The last episode had a couple of funny scenes, This episode has one relatively funny line. One line. If you're telling me that this ship can skip across the universe on a highway made of mushrooms, I kind of have to go on Fate. Other than that, it's just boring. We have seen many episodes in which a Starfleet crew finds a lost Earth colony. I would say way too many episodes. And always something interesting happens in these stories. Nothing, however, happens on this colony. So where is some conflict? Where is some drama? Where is some moral question or moral decision making? The engineer knocks our heroes down and locks them up in the basement, and they just walk out. A little girl plays with a phaser, so Pike takes it from her. He gets injured, but of course he will survive it, so why should we care? It's the same as he wouldn't do anything. And then they just leave. They don't take the colonists with them. They don't even tell them that Earth wasn't destroyed. Pike tells it to one guy, and it's the only guy who always believed that Earth still exists. So, what was the whole point of this episode? What is the reason that it exists? To sum it up, this episode has one kind of funny line and one slightly interesting scene. And then it ends. A huge disappointment compared to the previous episode. And if you care, no, we still haven't seen Spock or Vok or the new comedian character, Tig something, or the resurrected Doctor, or the Mirror Universe Empress. I refuse to call her Emperor, and I'm saying that as a person who barely can speak English. So if I wanted to give this episode some numerical value, on my standard scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is absolute garbage, 10 is a masterpiece, and 5 is just average, I would give this episode 3 out of 10. It's boring, and when it stops being boring, it suddenly ends. Much worse than the previous episode, and that one wasn't very good either. But as always, those were just my opinions. Let me know what did you think about this episode down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by smashing that thumbs up button. And if you have some free time, you can watch any of the other videos on my channel, and I'm going back to my script for the Mark of Gideon. Thank you very much for watching, and see you all very soon. Bye.